The AfterShokz Cup Series is finally here, in points form anyways. Welcome to Race 1 of the AfterShokz Cup Series, the Daytona 500. This is just a highlight reel, not an actual race. There are a couple of highlights that are stop motion, so y'all are just gonna have to deal with it. So anyways, let's get started with the highlights from this race. So before we begin, if you've been keeping up with this channel, you probably know that Julius Anderson was your pole sitter for this race. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's begin with the highlights. Here's the green flag. Nothing special besides they started racing. Julius Anderson led the first lap of the race, but then Jackson Patrick in the 10, no relations to Danica Patrick, would take the lead as he would lead the next 2 laps. But on the final lap of stage 1, there were 3 wide for the lead. Matthias Watson in the 35 and Julius Anderson in the 20. But then Brett Wilson would come out of nowhere and win the stage from outside the top 10. So here's the top 10 in stage 1. Like I just said, Brett Wilson won the stage, so he gets a playoff point along with 10 stage points. Matthias Watson second, Cody Ballard third. Great run by Matthias Watson, by the way. Michael's 4th, Jenkins 5th, 6th, Anderson 7th, Michael Waldrop 8th, Quinton 9th, Clements. Rounding out the top 10 is Steve Gates. He gets 1 stage point. Here's the beginning of stage 2. Then Cody Ballard took the lead. Then after that, on lap 6, I believe, lap 6, the 37 got loose, forced the 16 below the double yellow line, and they went off pace. The 20 gave the 37 a bump, and he was not penalized for some reason. Yeah, that's all I can say for that. And boy, did it cost the 16 and the 37, as on the last lap of stage 1, the 52 at Jack Semery spun out and crashed, and the 16 and the 37 got collected in the wreck. They were able to continue, but unfortunately, poor old Jax had to settle for a DNF. So because the 49 of Frodo Marotz passed Julius Anderson with 2 to go in the stage, he won. So here are the results. Frodo Marotz first, like I said. Julius Anderson second. Matthias Watson continues his great run with 3rd in the stage. Quinton 4th. Gates 5th. Jenkins 6th. Clements 7th. Hobbs 8th. John Doe 9th. And Cameron Davison in 10th. Then here's the restart. And then Matthias Watson would take the lead. And then the big one happened. Several cars were involved in this one. 21 to be exact. The field was red flagged for a while to clean this mess up. Here are the cars involved. Now, there were quite a few drivers that were able to continue, such as Landon Smith Jr. and Chris Beasley, but John Doe, Matt Earnhardt, Jackson Patrick, Alistair Cole, and other drivers, they were not able to continue. Shame for them. But they finally got it all cleaned up, and there was a restart with 2 to go, which meant overtime. Ryan Labonte was able to take the lead away from Matthias Watson, but then cautions breed cautions, as Justin Brewer and Frodo Marotz had a hard crash and collected tons of other drivers. It was the second big one of the race. Not as big as the last one, but this one collected 10 drivers. Frodo Marotz and Justin Brewer basically getting the worst of it. Here are the cars involved in this one. There's Blur Diaz, Michael Labb Jr., Eric Keplinger, Brett Wilson, who was able to continue, Michael Hobbs, who also continued, Justin Brewer, Jack Lawton, who continued, Frodo Marotz, Joshua Smith, and the last driver to continue, Leighton Mata. There was another red flag for that, but they got that cleaned up. There was another restart, and it will be the final one, as Ryan Labonte would win the AfterShokz Cup Series, Season 1, Daytona 500. Here are the results. Ryan Labonte finishes first, like I just said. Dave and Quinton are second, so Pepsi and Coke 1-2. Owen Miles in third. LW Wright 4th. Jenkins 5th. Caldwell 6th. How about Jack Ming in 7th? And then there's Watson in 8th. As here it goes. Bunch of cars a lap down and out. And, yeah. There's the results, and now here's the point standings. with his great run in this race. Mateus Watson is your points leader, followed by David Quintanar in second, Bruce Jenkins in third, Ryan Labonte fourth. Labonte's the only driver who's locked into the playoffs with his win here at Daytona. Fifth is Owen Miles, sixth L.W. Wright, seventh Cody Ballard, eighth Brett Wilson, ninth James Stapleton, 10th Mason Clements, 11th Josh Drake, 12th Michael Hobbs, 13th Darrell Michaels, 14th Hudson Chaffee, 15th Landon Smith Jr., 16th Steve Gates. He and Frodo Marantz are on the playoff cutoff line. Julius Anderson is in 18th. Chris Beasley, Jack Lawton, Michael Labb Jr., Eric Keplinger, Justin Brewer, Joshua Smith, Michael Waldrop. Quite a few drivers on top teams such as Penske and Stewart-Haas and Hendrick that are pretty low in points, like Matt Earnhardt, John Doe, and Jackson Patrick, and Darren Dobb. They need to get a lot of points or else they'll miss the playoffs later in the season. Jack Semery in 37th. And last but not least, Thomas Rothling, who has yet to make a start in the series. His first start will be at the next race, which will be Las Vegas. So stay tuned for that. I'm a huge procrastinator, so I don't know when it's gonna be out. It should be out as soon as possible, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, y'all. This is Jonathan from JM Racing Network, signing out.